Hi, good morning. I'm Cheryl Andrews, the founder of Step by Step Listening, and it is What's Working Wednesday video. But as you can see, we've got the Christmas tree up and festivities here in the Andrews household is starting to form, and we're getting ready for Christmas period. And for those of you who know how I work, I tend to have my diary, so I have customer facing work for 9 months of the year. So January, February, March, we have our home open up to our clients. So people come in and they use the group for retreats, etc. And then the whole of April, I might do the odd bit of work, but I tend to do work that's outside of the house. So I might go and work in corporates or going into other people's accommodation venues, and I may only do online coaching, etc. So, and then I do May, June, July at home, and then August we don't open the home up again, and then we do September, October, November, and then December we don't do anything. And for me, that's been really, really important to, if you're somebody who is an entrepreneur who works from home, it can be really difficult sometimes to compartmentalise work, to switch off from it, and then to be 100% present for your family. But the likelihood is, if you're anything like me, part of the reason why you set your business up in the first place is because you really wanted to have time with your family. So this is really, today's video is a quick video just to talk about, how do you switch off? So if that critic is sort of got you, so you're sat there with your family and you're trying really hard to enjoy it and you're smiling on the outside, but your head is just chunking, you're absolutely in overwhelm with all the stuff that you've got going on, then the things that work for me and for many of my clients is planning. It's about thinking about it in advance. Now, I have had many clients who've come to me just a few weeks before Christmas to plan out if the Christmas was just the way they'd like it to be. So I want you to think about that today, first of all. If the Christmas period was just the way you'd like it to be, it would be like what? What would be happening if it was working for you? What would you hear and see? And if you haven't taken time to think about that before you get into the situation, that can be the reason why it doesn't quite work out, because what happens is you subconsciously already do have an idea of what you want, but you're not consciously aware of it. And if you're not consciously aware of it, first of all, you can't create and plan and make that happen. But secondly, you can't communicate it to the people that really matter to you. So one of the things that I would always talk to people is finding out if it was just the way you'd like it to be. Now, for me, I tend to like to have the whole of December, so I don't have to worry about it before, and I do all my shopping. I like shopping when it's the Christmas decorations are up in town. I like going around when it's really noisy and buzzy. I like that energy. Don't do it loads, maybe one or two. I do some online shopping, but for me it's about really getting into the festivities. So I've decorated my house, and that's why I don't always feel it's necessarily the right environment for the amount of decorations I've got up to do my coaching. So I don't have customer facing work during this period of time. I do stuff where I can just go to the office, I can be on the phone or on Skype, I can serve and support my clients, but it doesn't impact my family the same as when we open our home up. So just think about how you want it to be. Then think about, how do you need to be? Now, for many of the clients when I work with this, they need to be relaxed, they need to be calm, they need to be not worrying about their business. And that is often a really big thing. And so I want you to now start thinking about what works for you. Whatever the thing is that you need to be, whether it's relaxed or organised or whatever, what is it that works? Because the likelihood is that you have been organised or you have been relaxed, even if it was only for a nanosecond, like 1 minute in the whole of your life. And if you can't think of a time when you've been like that, then you probably have a representation of someone who you perceive is really relaxed or someone who's really organised. What is it you hear and see them doing? And worst case is if you can't work out what it is they're doing, that's when you have to develop your listening skills. And you have to develop those collaborations, you have to develop those relationships and connections so that you can have those conversations with people and say, okay, so how do you actually do that? The challenge is that most people who do it really well, do it now on autopilot, and they don't consciously know how they're doing it. But if you can build those relationships and you can start to be in peer support groups where you have those kind of in-depth conversations, you say, okay, so how do you do organised? How do you do relaxed? That's when you can start to get those little pearls and nuggets, because people go, oh, you just need to do it. And actually, if people say you just have to, I can almost guarantee there's 25, 30 years experience behind that, just that they now just take as a given. That's the way things are to do, and they don't recognise all the little nuances and all the little details. So First thing is then, if Christmas was just where you'd like it to be, or the holidays, depending whether you celebrate Christmas or not, how do you need to be? And then what kind of resource or support might you need for you to be like that? And so what I thought I'd do in this video today is just share with you what works for me, and see if that's helpful and inspiring. If it is, then please do put a comment below. Share the video. If it helps you, then hopefully it will help somebody else. It says I've got one person live, but I can't see who it is. If you are there, please leave me a message and tell me if you've got any questions. I can answer those while I'm here too. So what works for me is to know well in advance. Now I tend to be, so like now, when I'm doing Christmas this year, I'm already starting to think about what's really worked about this year. Oh, I'm losing my hat. So I'm already thinking about what's really worked and what I'm liking about it, and I'm keeping a record of it so that next year I can do the same. So for example, this year, my best friend and I normally go and do a shopping day, either a Saturday or Sunday. We go Christmas shopping, and because we've got that date in the diary, I do my Christmas list. I think about who we've got to buy for, what's my budget, and what do I want to get when I'm out there. And although I don't always do all of my Christmas shopping that day, because we've got that date in the diary, what happens is my brain starts thinking about who am I going to buy for, what do I need to get when I go shopping, and then it starts that process. So for me, what works is thinking about it in advance. So now, depending on how you process information, if you know about the wealth dynamics, so I'm a supporter energy, blaze energy, and I can dip between sort of being in the moment and very much visionary thinking. So I can do the forward thinking. But if you're more of a steel energy, you might be someone who really reflects, and it may be more difficult for you to envisage what Christmas would be like, even if like a week away from now or next year. So what I would suggest you do is after Christmas, write down everything that worked about this Christmas. Write down what didn't work and what would need to happen for it to work better for you next year. Because then in the moment, reflecting on it, you'll be able to, your brain's natural way of working is reflecting. You'll be able to reflect on what's just happened, and you'll be able to start to then record. But you have to write them down, because the way our memories work is maybe you won't remember that next year. So then you have to have it somewhere and a date in your diary where you're going to look at those things and start to think about what you want. And I know for me, Mark and I said, a few years ago, I really like to have the house decorated, but we didn't have the money for all the decorations we want. So we just committed when we met 11 years ago that we would just buy a few things every single year. So we spend about £100 a year on little extra bits, or updating or improving the decorations, rather than having to spend £1,000 trying to kit the house out. So once you know what you want, then you can start to look at what you're going to do and how you're going to do it forward. So hopefully that's giving you some ideas. Tracy, you're there. Hope you're all ready for Christmas. I want to wish everybody an amazing Christmas this year. It's actually my birthday tomorrow, so I'm very lucky to have a December birthday where I can really embrace all these decorations and have lots of fun. And I've got a few client calls next week, but then I'm officially off come the 22nd of December. And I keep losing my hat. I think I might give up with that for the moment. But I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody who has supported me on my journey with the book this year. Getting the book out there, I know I've gone on about it a lot, was a massive thing, because what I've been helping people do for the last 8 years is to manage their critic. I've been helping them to gain clarity of what they really want, helping them have confidence in who they are by helping identify what their strengths are, helping them identify how their story, their journey so far is resourcing them to have lessons to teach other people, and how they can use those lessons to stand out from other people in their field. And I've been doing that for everybody else, but I was really getting stuck for myself. And actually the book is exactly that thing we just said. By mapping out how I do it, I started to really value and appreciate all the little parts of what I do. But of course then I got better at doing it because I now understand the process. But I can't do it without support. And I've just started Sophia Pacifico Reese's Master Your Media, a 5-week mastermind group coaching program. And one of the things that we start the program with is your vision and mission. And I've gone back to some old records and realised the things I was writing in 2011 are still true today. And I think that the penny's dropping, and so it's these iterations. And it's thanks to you guys for actually giving me your contribution. Hi Cheryl, started to watch a video, but I have no way of hearing the commentary on this machine. Would love to hear all about how to switch off, so we'll try and watch video. Okay, so Tracy, also just leave me comments and messages. I can answer them later in the day if you've got any questions. So the thing for me is that the book forced me to have to ask for help, which I was always happy to offer other people. And this program with Sophia has made me question again and challenge what's my vision and mission. And I've known for a long time, and I've said it out loud before, is that I want to change the way the world listens. And I had a business coach that said, that's too big a goal. And I've realised that isn't it. My purpose on this planet is to change the way the world listens. It's about helping people. But the reason for that is so that people feel able to collaborate. And so I suppose in answer to the question, Tracy, about the switching off thing, is that I wouldn't be able to switch off like I did now if I didn't have the communication skills to collaborate with the people that are in my life. If I couldn't say to my family what I wanted for Christmas, if I couldn't say to my clients what I need for Christmas when I'm going to be off. So the most important thing is that you get clarity of what you want. That way, if you start really thinking about what you want, then you can think about what needs to happen for that to happen. So for me, I make sure my clients know I don't really work in December, so I'm winding down beforehand. I've got strategies and systems in place so that I don't have to check my emails for a week. So I have a complete switch off in the middle where I'm completely with my family and not worrying about or thinking about work. And then I have strategies and plans and meetings booked to get myself back up into it. Now, that's not to say I won't work. I love writing about what I do. I love what I do. So if the whole family are busy doing something and they're doing things like watching telly that I'm not particularly interested in doing, I might get my laptop out and do some blogging. But that's different to feeling I have to work when really what I want to do is be with my family. Some people said to me about blogging when I was in Australia, but you're on holiday, why are you doing that? It's like, because I like writing. So other people might sit and watch telly or they might read a book. I like writing about life experiences. I like writing about the people that I meet. So for me, that's not working. And even the work that I do, I love doing it. But when I'm facilitating, I'm coaching, it takes my attention away from my family. Whereas if I'm blogging, my family can stop me at any time and just have a chat to me. So that's not something that's going to distract us from our family stuff. So that's the most important thing for you guys, is to think about what do you actually want to have happen. Now, if you are struggling to get clarity, I know that Karen asked in one of our webinars, what do you do if you don't know what you want? Then please do check out the Manager Critic book, because it has got loads of resources in there, and it helps you understand how our brain works and all the things that go on in our brain that perhaps where you're fighting your natural way of doing things. And it might be for you that you have to write down everything that's not working first, because you are someone who processes on what's not working rather than what is working, or so you might process on what you don't want. But if you can write down everything that you don't want. Hi, Christine. Then if you write down everything you don't want, then you have the opportunity to start to think, okay, so what do you want instead? So that's what you don't want. When you've got it written down and you can see it, or someone repeats it back to you, that's when your brain can start to process it and go, okay, so that's what it is. So what you're actually hearing and seeing that you don't like about that. So what would you hear and see if it was just the way you'd like it to be? And bit by bit, you will start to eke out what you actually want. And it's that is the key to it, is be really clear about what you want this Christmas to be like, this holiday to be like. Be really clear about what you want your business to be like. Be really clear about what you want 2017 to be like. And ultimately, if you are struggling to get that out of your head and you're struggling to get those things and thoughts together, then please ask somebody for some help. It doesn't necessarily be me, but find a friend, find someone who could be your accountability partner, someone who can listen to what you're saying without trying to change the words or trying to interpret them or summarize them. Use video, talk to yourself and listen back to it yourself about what you'd like to have happen, and look about where your attention is, and keep asking questions until you get a statement that you go, that is it, that's what I'd really like to have happen. So please share below what you'd like to have happen. What I'd really like to have happen is for you guys to have the perfect holiday, however that may be, to have the most magical Christmas. And for those of you that perhaps are this year might have lost loved ones and it's going to be a difficult Christmas, I hope you have the opportunity to take in some time, reflect and remember and celebrate those people that aren't with you this year. And for those that having difficult times, I hope that you can reach out, or there are support networks that you know about that you can get the help. And if for those of you that are in my situation where you've got more time and you've got the resources, I hope we'll give more than we ever give before to help the other people in our community. And you know where I am. If for any reason this Christmas isn't just the way you'd like it to be, then let's get sorted in January 2017 and make sure that next year is your best year ever. Hope that's good. Morning, Rachel. I'm sorry I'm logging off just now, but please leave comments below about how, if this holiday Christmas period was just the way you'd like it to be, it would be like what. And if I can be of any help to help you guys switch off, I will put some comments and questions below. See you soon. Merry Christmas, everybody. Bye.